In this video, I'm going to show you how to write an informal letter for the C1 Cambridge Advanced exam. First of all, I'm going to read the task, which is very similar to a C1 Advanced Cambridge task in the writing part of the exam. The answer must be between 220 and 260 words. You recently read an article in an English magazine requesting money-saving tips for young people who are just starting university. Write a letter to the magazine explaining ways that students can take care of their money. So first things first, this is a magazine. I believe that in this task we have the choice to decide, are we going to make this a very formal letter or an informal letter? But the most important thing is if you choose a formal register or an informal register, that you stick with that. So I've decided to go for an informal register. Now, if I were writing this to a formal newspaper like the Times, I would say, "Dear Editor." However, because it's a magazine, I'm going to say, "Dear Readers." And this is my introductory paragraph. In response to last week's article requesting money-saving tips, here are some of my own. As a former student and now a single parent on a low wage, I'm something of an expert. So we have a couple of things of interest for you here. A former student, that means I used to be a student. To be on a low wage means that you don't earn a lot of money. And then this is a collocation, or you could call it an expression. I'm something of an expert. It means that I am an expert. So that's our introductory paragraph to our informal letter. Next off, we have our first main paragraph. Firstly, when you go food shopping, don't ever go on an empty stomach, as you'll end up spending a fortune. So that's a collocation, an empty stomach. It means that you have not eaten. And also, you'll end up spending a fortune. This is a great informal phrasal verb, to end up. And another expression, spending a fortune, means to spend a lot of money. Let's take a look at the sentence structure of this. Well, first off, we have a fronted adverbial, firstly, with a comma. And then we have another comma here because this is a subordinate clause, when you go food shopping. And then we have another subordinate clause, as you'll end up spending a fortune. So it's adverbial, subordinate clause, main clause, and then another subordinate clause. Also, unlike most money-saving experts, let's highlight, I don't agree with shopping lists and budgets. Instead, look at what's on special offer and buy that. I recommend being flexible in this way and taking advantage of supermarket deals when they arise. So we've got a mixture of the first person, I recommend, but also imperative verbs telling the readers what to do. Don't ever go on an empty stomach. Look at what's on special offer. And that fits in very well with this letter where we are in fact giving advice and sharing tips. So the second money-saving tip is in this paragraph beginning secondly. Secondly, when it comes to clothes, books, etc., I highly recommend buying second-hand. Second-hand means used. There are some fantastic charity shops around. And if you keep your eyes open, you can pick up some real bargains. Now, in the UK, we have something called a charity shop, and these are shops which belong to charities. You can donate your old clothes, books, etc., and then they sell them very cheaply. So these are great places to get second-hand goods. In America, they call them thrift stores. An expression, if you keep your eyes open. This means to be alert, to be looking for something. and then you can pick up some real bargains. So pick up an informal phrasal verb. Nowadays, there are also online stores which sell used products, and these can really save you a lot of money. I've used the word used products because we've just said second hand, and we don't want to overuse that word. So second hand and used are synonyms. Whenever you can, try not to repeat adjectives in that way. So now we have a third paragraph with a third piece of advice. It's actually the fourth paragraph if we include our introduction. Let's see. My third piece of advice for students, and I know it's not going to be popular, is to stay away from alcohol. So we've slotted in this little extra sentence between two commas, and I know it's not going to be popular. This gives a really informal flavour to the letter. Nights out drinking. Now in English we talk about a night out. A night out is going out to bars, to nightclubs, to restaurants. Nights out drinking are extremely expensive, and to make matters worse, if you're hungover the next day, you're less likely to get a part-time job and earn more money. So great expression here, to make matters worse. Hungover, being ill from alcohol. And what we've got here is quite a even though it's an informal sentence, it's complex in its structure, because we have nights out drinking are extremely expensive, and then we've slotted in, to make matters worse, if you're hungry the next day, you're less likely to get a part-time job and earn more money. And then we've got our last closing paragraph. Finally, whatever you do, try your absolute best to stay out of debt, because once you're in it, it's very hard to get out. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. And as we often do in newspapers and magazines, you can end with kind regards. You could end with many thanks. If it was formal, you would say yours sincerely. And you always will put the location of the writer. So Jim is his name, London. I hope you found this video on how to write C1 informal letter useful. If you did, please give this video a like, and if you haven't already done so, think about subscribing to the channel. Also, I love hearing your comments, and I always answer all of them. So please, if you have anything to tell me, such as ideas for new videos or any questions, leave me a comment in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.